Celtic Myths and Legends by T.W. Rolleston. Chapter 6. Tales of the Ossianic Cycle. The Rescue of Fairyland. Dermot, after a moment of darkness and trance, now found himself in Fairyland. A man of noble appearance roused him and led him away to the castle of a great king, where he was hospitably entertained. It was explained to him that the service of a champion like himself were needed to do combat against a rival monarch of Fairy. It is the same motive which we find in the adventures of Cuchulainn with Fawn, and which so frequently turns up in Celtic fairy lore. Finn and his companions, finding that Dermot did not return to them, found their way up the cliffs, and having traversed the forest, entered a great cavern, which ultimately led them out of the same land as that in which Dermot had arrived. There, too, they are informed, are the 14 Fianna, who had been carried off on the mare of the Hardgilly. He, of course, was the king who needed their services, and who had taken this method of decoying some 30 of the flower of Irish fighting men to his side. Finn and his men go into the battle with the best of goodwill, and scatter the enemy like chaff. Oscar slays the son of the rival king, who is called the King of Greece. Finn wins the love of his daughters, Tasha of the White Arms, and the story closes with a delightful mixture of gaiety and mystery. What reward wilt thou have for thy good services? Asks the fairy king of Finn. Thou wert once in the service with me, replied Finn, and I mind not that I give thee any recompense. Let one service stand against the other. Never shall I agree to that, cries Conan the Bald. Shall I have naught for being carried off on thy wild mare and hauled over sea? What wilt thou have? Asks the fairy king. None of thy gold or goods, replies Conan, but is it Conan or Conan? People say Conan, so I'm going to say Conan. But mine honor hath suffered, and let mine honor be appeased. Set 13 of thy fairest womenfolk on the wild mare, O king, and thine own wife clinging to her tail, and let them be transported to Erin in like manner as if we were dragged there. Oh, as if we were dragged here. Oh, as we were dragged here, and I shall deem the indignity we have suffered fitly atoned for. On this the king smiled, and turning to Finn, said, O Finn, behold thy men. Finn turned to look at them, but when he looked round again, the scene had changed. The fairy king and his host and all the world of Fairy had disappeared, and he found himself with his companions and the fair-armed Tasha standing on the beach of the little bay in Kerry, whence the Hardgilly and the mare had taken the water and carried off his men. And then all started with cheerful hearts for the great standing camp of the Fianna on the hill of Allen to celebrate the wedding feast of Finn and Tasha.